Beautiful people and the uggos, I want everyone to feel welcome. Thanks for coming to play 21 questions. My name's Mike. I run trivia shows. Let's get started. Question 1. Was the first human in space American or Russian? First human in space was the Russian Soviet cosmonaut Yuri Gagarin, who flew into space on April 12 of 1961 in the Vostok 1. Good. Question 2. Complete the title of the 1970s sitcom starring Penny Marshall and Cindy Williams, Laverne and who? Shirley. Shirley, you must be joking. I'm not, and don't call me Shirley. That's Laverne and Shirley, which was a spin-off of Happy Days. Question 3. What 3 words do the initials BBS signify on a message on the Google machine, on the interwebs, or in a text message? BBS stands for Be Back Soon. Question 4 is always a true or false on this podcast. True or false? When not adjusted for inflation, the world's highest grossing movie ever is Avatar. Is that true? Is that false? That's actually true. Avatar, $2.9 billion. Thank you very much. Just the first movie alone. But you know how that question said when it's not adjusted for inflation? Different answer when you do adjust it for inflation, because the answer then is Gone with the Wind. Almost $4.5 billion. Having said that, Gone with the Wind was made such a long time ago, I think in the 1930s, so it's had a big run-up, a big head start. Let's move on. Question 5, bit of literature now. Is Wilbur the pig a character in Babe, Animal Farm, or Charlotte's Web? That's Charlotte's Web. Normally I say a little comment here about Charlotte's Web, and I would if I'd read it or seen it or knew anything about it. I can tell you there's a character called Wilbur the pig in it. Does that help? Anyway, question 6, a stiletto heel, speaking of things I don't know much about, a stiletto heel less than 5 centimeters high is given which baby animal name? Is it a chick heel, a pup heel, or a kitten heel? It's a kitten heel. Question 7. In which sport would one use a pommel horse? That's gymnastics. I was going to set up a pommel horse back behind me here in my little studio and give you a demo. Sadly, though, my tights are at the cleaners, so we'll have to save that up for another time, if that's okay. Now, after question 7, we do the first clues for the Who Am I? Who am I? I was born Virginia Elizabeth Davis in January of 1956 in Massachusetts. Whilst working as a fashion model in New York, I was spotted by a film director, which led to my movie debut in 1982's Tootsie with Dustin Hoffman. In 1986, I starred in a remake of the sci-fi horror flick The Fly, and I eventually married Jeff Goldblum, who was the lead in that movie. Any thoughts on who that might be just yet? More clues after question 14 if you need them, or even if you don't. That's how that works. This is a recorded show, so it just kind of rolls through. Anyway, for now though, question 8. Which H word, by that I mean a word that starts with H, is a term for jockeys in horse racing and a type of round earring? That's a hoop. A horse jockey racing is a hoop, and there's dangly thing from ear, also a hoop. Everything's fine over here, I promise. Question 9. Which of the following is not one of Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt's children's names? Maddox, Knox, or Hendrix? That's Hendrix, and I don't think there are too many of Brad Pitt's children that are actually speaking to him at the moment, or ever. Anyway, question 10. Question 10 is a player question sent in by Anthony, and he asks, in the classic sitcom Lost in Space, that was the theme song for anyone that remembers it or even doesn't. You know what? If you do remember it, I just took you into a happy little memory. If you don't, I've just educated you. You're welcome. Anyway, in the classic sitcom Lost in Space, which character would often say, "Oh, the pain, the pain"? That was me classically slipping into character there. That would be Dr. Smith. Now, here's the thing. Dr. Smith in the TV show was very whiny, but in the Netflix revival of it, Dr. Smith is actually a woman and not whiny. So there you go. Anyway, question 11 is another true or false. True or false? Australian tennis player Pat Cash was number one for just 1 week in July of 1999. Is that true? Is that false? That's actually false because it was Pat Rafter. Pat Cash was never world number one, but Pat Rafter was for just 1 week. To this day, Pat Rafter has the shortest reign at the top of the rankings ever, and given it was only 1 week, that will never be taken away from him. It may be equaled, but it's not like they make someone world number one for 4 days. So, Pat Rafter, yours forever, champ. Question 12, beginning with G, what is the world's most commonly used calendar? That's the Gregorian calendar, been used throughout most of the world for centuries now. Question 13. Now, we're talking here about the fruit that we in Australia call kiwi fruit, but a lot of the world just call it a kiwi, okay? Is that fruit originally from New Zealand or China? It's originally from China. Here's the thing. Kiwi fruit is native to central and eastern China going back to the 12th century during the Song dynasty. But in the early 20th century, the New Zealanders got a hold of it, started to grow it. Then around World War II, British troops that were visiting New Zealand, I'm not even sure why, tried it and they said, "I say, chaps, these fruits are rather odd looking but delightfully tasty." And they turned to their American friends and said, "Here, I say, try this fruit, chappie." And the Americans did, and they went, "God damn, that's fantastic." And that's how it happened. The kiwi fruit spread around the world. They're also called Chinese gooseberries in some places, just for anyone yelling at their phone going, "They're also called Chinese gooseberries." I know, all right? Good. Anyway, question 14. To the nearest kilometre, over what distance is a half marathon run? I better give you multiple choice. Is it 15 kilometres? Is it 20 kilometres? Is it 25 kilometres for a half marathon? It's closest to 20 out of those three options, 21 kilometres, 21.097 kilometres specifically. And you run all that way and you end up where you started. That to me is very foolish behaviour. Just saying. More clues now for the Who Am I. If you remember, it was the American actress Tootsie the Fly, married Jeff Goldblum at one point. Who am I? In 1988, I was in Beetlejuice and I won the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress for The Accidental Tourist. Years later, I was nominated for the Best Actress Oscar for Thelma and Louise, and I starred in the baseball film A League of Their Own. Have you worked it out yet? Do you know who it is? Final clues after question 20. For now, though, question 15, and it's a classic rock question. Was Robert Plant the lead singer of The Who, Pink Floyd, or Led Zeppelin? Robert Plant, Led Zeppelin. Question 16. In accordance with the American Constitution, presidential elections are held in November, with the inauguration held in which month? That's January. Question 17. Which author, whose first name sounds the same as an Australian city but is spelt a bit differently, thus making it a homophone, wrote espionage thrillers but also created the TV shows I Dream of Jeannie in the 1960s and Heart to Heart in the 1980s? Would it help if I told you his first name was Sydney? Would it help more if I told you his last name was Sheldon? Did you get Sydney Sheldon? Not the easiest question we've ever done, but we are getting towards the end of the ep where I make them a little bit harder. Question 18. Was the first ever Disney princess Snow White or Cinderella? And bonus question, how many Disney princesses are there officially? Answer to the first bit is Snow White. Answer to the second bit, there are 13 official Disney princesses. Who are they? Oh, good question. They are Snow White, Cinderella, Aurora, Ariel. That's only one. Ariel, that's just one. Belle, Jasmine, Pocahontas, Mulan, Tiana, Rapunzel, Merida, Moana, and Raya. Now, someone pointed out to me recently that Disney owned the rights to the TV show MASH, which makes me think that maybe Corporal Klinger will soon be anointed a Disney princess as well. Wouldn't that be fun? Question 19 on this podcast is always a still alive or not so much. I give you a name. You decide if you think that person is still alive or not so much. Today, Jack Palance. Now, I was watching TV the other night, just surfing through channels, and I saw Jack Palance playing Curly in City Slickers, and I thought, I wonder if he is still alive or not so much. And so I ask you, dear listener, dear viewer, dear listener viewer, is Jack Palance still alive or not so much? Jack Palance is in fact not so much. No, he died in 2006. There will not be another sequel to City Slickers, or if there is, he won't be in it. Good. Question 20 is always a mute. No, I don't. When I say good, I don't mean good that he won't be in it. I just mean finished. Question 20 is always a music question on this podcast. Here we go. Which British group is the best-selling girl band of all time? That sold 100 million records worldwide. They formed in 1994. They are the Spice Girls. Alrighty. Final clues now for the Who Am I, the American actor, In the Fly, In a League of Their Own, Accidental Tourist, Oscar winner, Who Am I? Away from acting, I took up archery in my 40s and came close to making the US Olympic team for the Sydney 2000 Games. In 2004, I founded an institute that has my name in the title that researches how women are portrayed and represented on screen. Although my first name is Virginia, everyone calls me Gina. I am Gina Davis. There you go. Beautiful people, that is 21 questions done. I'd love to know how you went with that set of questions. So if you could comment your score, that would be great. Whatever app you're listening to, if it's YouTube or Spotify or whatever, put your score in the comments so I know how you're going with it, and that helps me write the questions going forward. Speaking of writing questions, if you'd like to do that, you can, because soon is episode 100, which will be an episode made up entirely of questions submitted by the listeners to this show. We did that for episode 50. It was quite good fun. We're going to do it for episode 100 as well to celebrate that little milestone. So write me a trivia question about anything you want, any topic you want, any degree of difficulty. I will use it in episode 100, or if I get too many, I'll use them in the subsequent episodes as we go along. Delightful. This podcast comes out every Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday. Meet me back here in a couple of days. We'll have another crack at it. I love you. I've been Mike van Acker. Catch you next time.